Hello, friends. Welcome to chapel. This is our last chapel of the term, actually. Wow. Welcome to chapel. We're very excited to have Reverend Brian lead us, and he'll tell you a little bit more about what he's doing. And this, of course, will be recorded, so you'll feel free to look at this afterwards. So, without further ado, there's much to do. So let us begin. Brian. Take it away.
Well, before we even begin, we have to begin properly with Dustin leading us in an opening, an invocation of sorts. So I pass this off to my soon-to-be graduated colleague, Dustin.
Will you pray with me? A drop of water, insignificant in isolation. When dropped in a pool, the ripples move out into infinity. The water is changed by one drop of water. A drop is falling now into the pool of our spirit. The water begins to ripple. Holy One, as we consider the magnitude of a drop of water to touch and change the pool, may we hear the power of your touch in our lives, the potential for our lives to touch others. Amen.
Thank you for that. All right. So to do this, I do have to share my screen here a moment. Is it open? I have two of them. Should be this one. Share and go to the beginning. So what do you see? Why is it paused? Resume share.
Hey, we see your screen right now of the PowerPoint. So
do you see the notes, or do you see the actual, this is only a test, just one thing?
We see we see everything, the notes, the side view, and the main slide.
How's that?
Yes.
And you see it? Okay. So that I always use the test to figure out which screen I'm using here. Okay, so anyway. So do you still see this?
We see the whole PowerPoint. So if you wanted to just like present it, like
I thought I was presenting.
We also can't see your arrow moving around. So
okay, so let me get back into these. Okay, so there's PowerPoint. Get here. Try the share in. There's the share at a time. All right, nobody's sharing. So if I share.
Yeah.
There it is.
Okay.
And we see aspects of 7.
Okay, that's great. That's all we want. Okay, so I've been working on an interfaith ritual or a meditation that invokes and honors 7 sacred aspects across different spiritual traditions. I like to say it's a ritual for all or most people. By bringing in concept of earth-based traditions and contemporary paganisms, and paralleling them with aspects of other traditions, this ritual helps pagans have a voice in inter and intra-faith dialogue. How the directions are incorporated provides a good compromise between practitioners who call the quarters and those who don't. Also, I use runes in here, and this is intended to decry the profaning of these symbols by racists and white supremacists, because we're trying to reclaim these symbols, okay? Now, obviously not every tradition has a specific set of principles that can neatly be enumerated as 7. It just doesn't happen. So when a tradition's aspects exceeded 7, my options were either to combine them or leave some off. And when they numbered fewer, I had to find additional elements within that tradition as long as they made sense by the expansion. All right. So here are the traditions I wanted to work with. Basic idea there. So for paganisms, we have 7 directions, 7 elements, and 7 out of 24 runes from the Futhark. For the Hindu Vedic traditions, we have 7 major chakras. For Christianity, I chose 7 sacraments. For Judaism, I chose the 7 Sephirot from Kabbalah. And from Buddhism, oh wait, did I miss one here? Nope. From Buddhism, I chose the first 7 factors of the Noble Eightfold Path. And that still works because all 7 of them actually help you achieve the 8th aspect of the Noble Path. From Islam, we have the 5 pillars, as well as 2 additional aspects from their theology. And then I have an interreligious category, which is just universal concepts or common themes. All right. Now, the guide to this is the 7 colors of the rainbow. In my tradition, that is the bridge between our plane and the seat of divinity, and it has meanings in other traditions. Associating the 7 directions to these 7 colors also helps us because we're using the descending order of wavelengths. It takes away that, let's say, temptation to misappropriate colors and meanings and directions from other traditions of which I am not a part. So we just go right through the rainbow, basically. Okay. Now, while I'm using seven directions, that is not a universal sacred number of directions. You got to be aware of that. Okay. Some practices use 5, 9, even 13 sacred directions. Also, please understand that assignments such as color and meaning, or even spellings or transliterations, can vary from one practice to the next. So if you hear something that doesn't mesh with what you've learned, just kind of like, don't worry about it. Just accept that this is just another way to make the associations. So here are my color and direction associations. All right. You see, across the cardinal plane, we go through east, south, west, north with red, orange, yellow, green. And then we descend below for blue to the underworld. We ascend above indigo for the shining realm or the overworld. And of course, purple is within. All right. I just took. Now, to do 7 directions and 7 colors across 7 different traditions, and it just takes way too much time. We can't absorb and really deal with them individually. So I'm going to give you a quick overview of the full 7 package. And then we'll come back and we'll delve only into the east, the first direction. Now, we've come to the end of the spring term, and each ending brings the opportunity for new beginnings and of renewal, which are all hallmarks of spring. Also, the end of this term brings graduation for some of our colleagues. So there's the ending of one phase of academics with whatever beginnings and new journeys might await them. All right, so that overview I promised. In the east, the color is red. The rune is Otala. The chakra is the root chakra. We have the sacrament of baptism. The first sephiro called Malkuth or Shekinah. The first pillar of Islam, the Shahada or the declaration of faith. And the first step on the Eightfold Path, right view. The interreligious notion is that all is connected. For south, the color is orange. We have the rune Kinaz. The sacral chakra, the sacrament of communion, and the second level of Sephiro, Yisod. The second pillar of Islam is Salat or prayers, and then the second step is right resolve. Brings us to the interreligious aspect of honor one another. In the west, the color is yellow. The rune is Tir, and we have the solar plexus chakra or the navel chakra. We then move to the sacrament of confirmation, and we have a paired Sephiro for the Kabbalah, and that pairing is Netzach and Hod, both for stamina. The third pillar of Islam is Zakat or charity. And we got this right here, yes. The third step on the Eightfold Path is right speech, bringing us all to the interreligious notion to honor oneself. In the north, continuing on the rainbow, the color is green. The rune is Awaz. We have the heart chakra and the sacrament of marriage. We also have the Sephiro of Tifri, or love. And the fourth pillar of Islam, Ramadan, fasting, which has a very loving break at the end of each day of Ramadan, and of course at the very end of it. The fourth step is right action, bringing us all to the interreligious notion that love is divine power. We descend to the below where the color is blue. The rune is Ansuz. The chakra is the throat chakra. And we have the sacrament of reconciliation. For Kabbalah, we again have a pairing, this time of Chesed and Chedura, greatness and love. And the fifth pillar, the final pillar of Islam, the Hajj, the pilgrimage. The fifth step on the Eightfold Path is right livelihood, and our interreligious aspect is surrender and divine will. Soaring above, the color is indigo. The rune is Al-Jiz. The chakra is the third eye. And we have the sacrament of ordination. Moving on to Kabbalah, we have another pairing, Bina and Chokhmah, for understanding and wisdom. And we've run out of pillars, so we have the roles of spiritual leaders as our next aspect of Islam, and that is the Imam and the Ulama. Buddhism, we continue on to right effort and end up with interreligious notion of seeking only the truth. And then within, the color is violet, the rune Kraidyo. We come to the final of the 7 major chakras, the crown chakra, and the Christian sacrament of extreme unction and anointing the sick. We also come to the final Sefiro, Kitir, or crown, and the Islamic concept of the afterlife called the Akhira, which is just basically moving from one reality to another reality where we're all joined in again. And the 7th step on the Eightfold Path is right mindfulness, and we get the interreligious notion to live in the present moment. There we go. So with that introduction, we are going to focus on the East. So prepare yourself, take a deep breath, let it go, participate as you feel comfortable. If something doesn't jive with you, just focus back on your breathing, maybe even the color. I will strike a chime as we transition from one aspect to the next. Put my chime up here. All right. So we begin with the beginning, the East. As we face East, we breathe in the color red. East is the energy of the rising sun, the element of air, and human notions of mind, knowledge, learning, and intellectual curiosity. Imagine a breeze blowing upon you, reinvigorating you and blessing you with a fresh start, maybe even a new idea. Let this new idea take root. The East rune for this journey is Otala, representing ancestral spiritual power or inheritance, that which has been passed on to you from many sources, not just your genetic makeup. Reflect now on the gifts of both or either your birth family, your chosen family. What have they given you for this journey? What have you inherited? What have you received? Red is the color of the root chakra, Malutara, honoring root support, actions, survival, and our very identity as an individual. Feel now the support of your roots enfolding you at the very base of your spine. Visualize a strong foundation for the temple that is your life. The sacrament of the East is baptism, which celebrates the physical birth into the spiritual family, welcoming us into a community as divinely chosen. Let this baptism flow over you, washing away delusions of not being good enough, freeing you from denials of your sacredness, and feeding the roots of your growth. In the Kabbalah, the first level of Sephiro is called Malkuth or Shekhinah, the divine feminine presence, which has been imagined as a protective, even maternal spirit. This divine energy comes down and finds its expression on this plane, and it is our purpose as human beings to bring that energy back around the circuit again and up the tree of life. The tree of life is also the world tree, or Yggdrasil from Nordic traditions. It is the axis upon which the known and unknown worlds spin. Visualize yourself as this very axis of the worlds. You are the universe beginning and becoming to know itself. In the East, we encounter the first pillar of Islam, the Shahada, the declaration of faith, an announcement and acceptance of one's own spiritual reality. No matter your progress, you must grasp your starting point or restarting point. Consider your own, perhaps faltering, steps on your path. What do you still declare? And what new faithfulness do you announce these days? Beginnings include samadhi, right view, Buddhism's first step on the Eightfold Path, with its understanding of how reality and suffering are intertwined. When we begin to see the causes of our suffering, we begin to transcend them. What suffering will you begin to move beyond? What suffering do you still need to hold on to just yet, that you need help transcending? And finally, as with the interreligious aspect of all is connected, or the heathen concept of the innengard, that which is within the enclosure of our lives, we first honor our families and communities. Again, these are families of blood and or chosen families, our families and communities as we begin our spiritual journey. With whom have you connected on this journey? What connections must be nurtured? What new connections do you seek? Are you building a longer table within your heart to host them? With the color red and all these aspects of the East, we celebrate new beginnings. We celebrate renewal. We celebrate the ongoing journey. And with that, our journey through the East has ended. You may return your focus to the here and now, to the mundane of this world, though perhaps, I hope, you return somewhat changed. Whatever the case, come back in your own time and be gentle with yourself. And know that although this journey is ended, these aspects and more are always available to you. I now pass the virtual baton to Jacques for our closing benediction. Let me bring this up for you.
Thank you, Brian. That was lovely. Hello, everyone. This benediction was written by Sophie Strand in her book, The Flowering Wand. And I've recently read it, and it's connected a lot to my life, and I wanted to share it with you at this Interfaith Chapel. May the moon blend us in the bowl of bothness. May we compost our heartbreak, mulch our wounds, pour water into the dry cracks of dead soil. May our wands turn into snakes, our snakes to wands, our swords to flowers. May our pleasure be as intelligent and revolutionary as ivy digesting a building. May we find rainwater fermented mead in beehives, gods surfacing mushroom-headed from the mycelial underworld. May we approach mountains as our lovers, landscapes as our own bodies. May we honor the porousness of our bodies, selves, souls, breath, the place where our roots fuse into other roots, the beings that constitute our song, the larger song we sparkle in as one small star in a constellation. May our time be as slow as bluestone, as quick as a hummingbird heart, as sweet as nectar, as thick as pollen, as light as a spore on the wind. May we fill the space left behind by blight, by extinction, by harm, with song. May we heal each other. May we ask each being for its story.
Stop that share. Oh, thank you so much for that. We do have a closing song. Let me pull that up next here. You know what? Is it easier if I just play it on my system? Because I think I have the actual video on here. Go Light Your World. Pull this up. All right. Need to do another share. We want that player. We want to share the sound. All right. Do you see a black screen for movie?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
Here we go. All right. So this is my my good friend Aaron. He played my earliest edit of Go Light Your World for an interfaith ordination in 2020. I've since made some other edits trying to make it more gender inclusive. The new version has sibling instead of brother, but everything else is pretty much the same as my original edit here. And here he goes playing this on guitar. Everyone here?
There is a candle in every soul, some burning brightly, some dark and cold. Well, there is a spirit who brings fire, ignites a candle and makes it home. So carry your candle, run to the darkness, seek out the helpless, confused and torn, and hold out your candle for all to see it. Take your candle and go light your world. Take your candle and go light your world. Frustrated brother, see how he's tried to light his own candle some other way. See now your sister, she's been robbed and lied to, still holds a candle without a flame. So carry your candle, run to the darkness, seek out the lonely, the tired and worn, and hold out your candle for all to see it. Take your candle and go light your world. Take your candle and go light your world. 'cause we are a family whose hearts are blazing. So let's raise our candles and light up the sky. We join our spirits with all that's holy. We'll be a beacon in darker times. So carry your candle, run to the darkness, seek out the hopeless, deceived and poor. Hold out your candle for all to see it. Take your candle and go light your world. Take your candle and go light your world. Hold out your candle for all to see it. Take your candle and go light your world. Take your candle and go light your world.
And that is because I have no doubt that everyone I've met at United is taking their candle and lighting the world.
Brian, Reverend Brian, thank you. You've enriched so much. I have no words. Thank you. Just thank you. Thank you for blessing us.
And we did it within time too.
We did. Everybody, thank you for coming. Thank you, Dustin and Jacques, for your participation as well.
Thank you.
Yeah, spring is over. Spring term is over. This is the last one. So thank you for being here. Next week, I'll do an Earth Day chapel. You all are invited to come. And we'll go from there. We'll get Dustin all graduated, you know, on his trek over here. But thank you. And blessings to everyone. And y'all have a wonderful day.